Hi everyone, Tim here with TC Home Inspections. Today's topic is the top insurance claims made by homeowners. Well, it turns out the insurance companies in this country keep really good track of common insurance claims. And I'm going to talk about the top 6 insurance claims made by homeowners because we think that if these are common by the majority of Americans, these could be issues that you might want to think about when you have your next property inspection performed. Because certainly if we can give you information that will help avoid or not overlook these concerns, it's certainly going to benefit you on your next purchase. Well, the first and most common item that is reported by homeowners to their insurance company really has to do about, or with, I should say, water intrusion. Water affects a property more than anything else in our environment. And as we go through this list, there are other components, other insurance claims that are really tied into water intrusion. But as a general rule, the number one insurance claims has to do with water and water intrusion. Well, if you think about water intrusion, it can impact a house a lot of ways. It can impact the outside of the home. It can actually impact the interior of the home. And what I want to talk about very briefly in this video in regards to water is common things that you can avoid when you buy a home. These things should be looked at by your inspection company or certainly by you to make sure the home is in good condition. One of the items that is often overlooked when people buy a home, and this really ties in strongly to water issues, is the everyday dishwasher. Dishwashers commonly leak. And when they leak, they can leak for a long time before people really even realizing there's an issue going on. One of the things that we do as an inspection company, when we first walk into a door that has of a home that has a dishwasher, we go to the kitchen, we turn on that dishwasher and let it run for a full cycle. We just let it go and we can continue to inspect the remaining parts of the property. And then at the end of the inspection, after the full cycle has finished, we evaluate the condition underneath it to make sure everything's dry and secure. It is very common for us to evaluate a property, and on the disclosure document, the homeowner says there's no issues with the appliances, they're in great condition, they may even be newer, not an issue, and we find a dishwasher that's been leaking for a long period of time. So really make sure that all your appliances are evaluated. Any appliance that uses water has a potential to leak, and they should be thoroughly evaluated. 2 tools that every property inspector should use on a regular basis is number 1, an infrared camera and also a moisture meter. Infrared is one of the best tools that we have as an inspection company to look for any signs of moisture intrusion. If we find any changes in the resolution in our infrared camera pics, we will also back it up with a moisture meter reading. So those 2 tools are usually used together to uncover any kind of moisture problems in a property. The other things that are really common leaks that people don't know about is just traps and P-traps underneath sinks. Very common areas for water intrusion. Again, what happens is people often store a lot of things underneath their sinks. They're not aware that something is leaking until many months go by often and there's an issue with a subfloor underneath the sinks. So just know those are really common issues that your home inspector should spend a lot of time looking at. The second most common issue that people have insurance claims over is the roof and the roof system. Now again, this ties in directly to water intrusion certainly, but the roof should be thoroughly evaluated when you buy a property. And for this video, I'm going to be talking mainly about a shingled roof because it is the most common roof that we see in our service area. But every roof, when you buy a property, should be thoroughly evaluated by having an inspector get up on it. They should very carefully look at the entire surface. They should photograph the entire surface in a lot of different angles so you see what they're looking at. They should always check a couple of things, predominantly anything that goes through that roof deck, any piping, any venting, any flashings. Those should all be evaluated as those are the number 1 areas on a roof that have water issues. And one thing that always comes to mind, because we see it almost weekly, is the waste vent boots, those little rubber boots that go around a PVC pipe or any venting going through that roof. those should be looked at, because in 10 or 15 years, those boots always crack and have the potential of letting water in your attic space, reducing the R value of your insulation and also causing a lot of interior damage to your home. So every roof should be walked on by your inspection company, and any flashings, any penetration points should be evaluated. And then finally, the surface should be looked at carefully, evaluated for granule loss, cracks, missing shingles, all those kinds of things should be evaluated. And lastly, I'll just leave you with this in regards to roof. One of the most overlooked parts of a roof is lichen and moss growth. A lot of people just think about it as not a big issue, but I can tell you, after inspecting thousands of homes, our company often sees water leaks from nothing more than moss growth and lichen growth. And what happens, particularly with moss, it can be very aggressive in the right conditions. The moss actually grows underneath a shingle and lifts it, and then water can come in and do a lot of financial damage to your roof deck and also your attic space. So the roof should be thoroughly evaluated, and that's something that, again, that's the second most common insurance claim that insurance companies talk about that homeowners make. And then the third item I'm going to be talking about on this video is foundation concerns. The third most common reported insurance claim has to do with foundation security and structure. Well, a couple things that you need to know about foundations. Again, water can impact a foundation more than any other environmental concern, but the main thing to know about a foundation is it dry? Are there cracks in that foundation? Our company takes cracks very seriously, and a couple things that you should know as a prospective buyer is when you look at a home with any kind of cracking, you want to make sure the cracks are very tight, they haven't opened up. A lot of structural engineers will say, for example, if you have a crack 1/4 of an inch to or larger, and there's any elevation change from side to side, that can indicate there's current movement in that home, or there has been movement in that home and it's affecting the foundation of the house. So crackings are taken very seriously by our company, and what we do when we evaluate a property with any foundation concerns, we are going to open up every window in that house. We're going to open up all the doors multiple times to make sure there's no sticking, everything works properly, because a lot of times if there is a large crack with an elevation change, it can affect the way windows work, the way doors work, and it could be a window into structural damage in the home. So those are things that are taken very seriously by our company. And then again, in regards to all these top 3 items, back it up with an infrared scan, back it up with a moisture meter reading, and make sure everything's solid and secure in that home. Well, on the next video, I'm going to be talking about the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th most common insurance claims made by homeowners. But these are the top 3. These are things you might want to consider discussing with your inspection company before you hire them, to make sure these 3 components are thoroughly evaluated, because we know in the United States that these are the most common insurance claims people make when they own a home. So this is Tim with TC Home Inspections. I hope this is helpful. Give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, subscribe to our channel. What I always try to do is give you relevant information, things that we hear out in the field from our clients, things that we hear in the news that are impactful to our industry and to the real estate industry, the real estate market. It's really strong right now, and people are buying homes a lot of times not having them thoroughly inspected, and we think it's very important to at least get some basic understanding about every home before you close on it. So let us know if you have any questions. Again, this is Tim with TC Home Inspections, and I'll see you on the next video.